after how many days do we spend in Mackay? Like 10 days.
10 or 11.
We're out of there. Got a lovely little weather window popping up in front of us, so we're going to try and get out to the outer barrier reef today. So we're leaving Mackay and we're heading for, today we're going for Scofield, which is kind of that island just into the sun there. Straight in front of us is St Bees and Keswick, or Keswick. Yeah, so beautiful day. We've got about 8 knots of breeze. You might notice we've got a tiny little head salon. We've pinched one off the doghouse just to use until we get a new one made. We destroyed our heady in the last run up to Mackay, so yeah, got about a 5-hour trip, probably something like that. Just got to keep our eyes out for the whales again. The other thing that's exciting today is that we've got an autopilot again. Yoo! Our autopilot's working. Got a nice fella named John Kidston in Mackay. He came and had a bit of a look at it for us and determined that we're out of hydraulic fluid in the ram, so we got some new seals on there, fixed that up, back in business. Happy days. What a magnificent day out here today. We've only got about 7 knots of breeze, but it's just at the right angle for us. And we're just making our way across. This is St Bees and Keswick Islands over here. And if you look really carefully, there was a whale in front of there a minute ago. And then up in front, around the front of the forestay there, is Scofield, where we're headed today. So, yeah, beautiful day. Here's our little tiny sail we're using. It's actually a number 2 headsail off the doghouse, which is a 36-footer. So you can see it's a fair way short of full hoist, but it's doing the job. We'll take it. Got our full main going here, but yeah, we're chucking along at about 5 knots, probably more so. Not too many 6s. Yeah, beautiful day though. Look at these conditions. It's actually really enjoyable sailing in light breeze when there's not much swell and chop, and it's just easy. See any whales, Precious? Whale ahoy. Well, there she blows. Whereabouts? I can't see it. Hopefully it's coming over this way, huh? But, Keswick over there, and there's a little passage in between that and St Bees Island, which is in centre screen there now. And then I think this one's called Expatria or something like that, the little one right in the middle of the screen there now. And then over off the bow, around the back of the headsail there, is Scofield, where we're headed today. I'm going to meet up with some friends on Skylark, Andrew and Claire, and another boat from Gosford too, I believe. So we'll see how we go. Not much action on the fishing front yet though. So far we've only had 2 things interested in the lure. Both of them were bits of seaweed. But here's hoping. Wouldn't mind a nice little mackerel today. They've eaten all the last lot, so be very handy. This is an interesting little tidal anomaly. You can see we're just sort of going past the south end of St Bees over here, and if you look at the tide chart there, you can see that the tide's still coming in. It's rising at the moment, and typically in this part of the world a flood tide goes that way, comes from north to south. As we go around the back of St Bees here, we actually can see it from the numbers up here. We're actually on 5.2 knots across the bottom, speed over the ground, but our speed through the water is only 3.8, which means we've got a bit of tide going with us, even though we're kind of travelling northeast. So that's cool though. That's what we want. It's not a lot of breeze here, so a bit of tide all helps. So we're just motoring up here. Got a couple of nice little contours to troll over. We've we're looking for somewhere to catch some fish. This could be a good one. If you look on the water up ahead, you can see the current line on the water. Current lines are always good spots to look for fish, so you can see it running off down to the south there a little bit. So here's hoping. See that current line there now, it's a little bit closer. See a really obvious change in the water surface where the current line is. And we'll probably find that knot and a half of current we just had with us is about to change up here. See the big peak on the bottom there? That's what's causing that bit of surface turbulence. Still got the current with us though so far. Just got to wait for that reel to scream. See the current on the water here, or the colour change. That's getting all stirred up. Ah, she blows. See if I can hone in. Little distance away, a couple of 100 metres away. But it looks like they might be going to cross our path. Not sure. Now this is Heskett Rock just up here. We're just going to the south of that. And then Aspatria Island. And then this is St Bees over here. And that's Sam keeping an eye on this whale that you might be able to see if you look really carefully out through the dodger there. It's just sort of sitting on the surface out there. Just to the left of the little island in the distance. Of course now this is where the breeze starts to pipe. It's probably also where we'll catch a fish right about now too. Just to make it interesting. There's a little baby whale just back there. Where is it? Up you come. There's a tiny little fella. Haven't seen Mum yet though. There you are. Oh, there's Mum, I think. Well, that's Mum there, I'd say. Just chilling in the current. Big whale tail. Oh, here it comes, here it comes. There it is. So here we are out at Scofield Island, just on our final approach. Just got to go around this point right in front there and into the bay. Catch up with our friends Claire and Andrew on Skylark 2. Hopefully out to the reef tomorrow. We're thinking maybe Credlin Reef at this stage. We're just going to revisit the weather and see what it looks like. So after a very lumpy, bumpy night, pitching up and down in what you can see is a little bit of swell here at Scofield Island, we're on our way. Got our friends back there on Misbehaving and Skylark, and the three of us are headed for Credlin Reef today. So that's about a 27-mile run, and hopefully the breeze stays out of the north. We might just get an angle to sail out there hard on the breeze. It's only about 8 knots of breeze, 9 knots of breeze, not a lot. Just enough to get this swell happening through the night. Fortunately we were bow onto it, so there was no rolling, but there was plenty of up and downing, and it was a little bit noisy up in the forepeak there, a little bit of slapping under the bow. How did you enjoy that, Precious?
I didn't, Pumpkin.
You didn't enjoy that?
I'm sure my eyes are showing how I did not enjoy that. I feel like my eyes are hanging out of my head.
Yeah, it was more of a it was more about a stage, being in a staging place ready for today's trip than really picking an ideal anchorage. We were going to stop over at the bottom of Keswick. Would have been much nicer, I'm sure, but it probably added another hour and a half to today's trip, so it's all done now. We've got some sleep. We'll probably get a little bit more on the way out, hopefully. Anyway, we'll see how we go. There's the whale. Sam, back this way. There's the whale, just back to the right of Skylark back there. Got some more dolphins. Yeah, they're coming over, just off the rod tip there. Quite a big pod, but they're not coming over to us, unfortunately. Okay, so we're getting closer now. This is Little Credlin Reef, and this is the one we're going to, Credlin Reef. You can see there though that there's not a lot of detail there on the navionics. This particular one's an old chart that it's not a current subscription, but you can see we've got about 4 miles to go there. Come up to my iPad though, you can probably see if you look on here, there's not a big difference in the amount of detail that you get even on the current subscription. This is using the fishing charts. You can see it shows quite a lot of detail with the contours, but it's kind of recommended you don't use that for navigation, but it seems pretty accurate most of the time. Yeah, so this is where we're going to enter in, but there's no sign of a lagoon there. It actually looks a little bit more accurate on the old one here. You can actually see a little bit of a lagoon up there. Anyway. What a beautiful morning out here at Credlin Reef. It's just after sunrise. We're out here with our friends on Skylark up ahead there. And this is John and Alison on Misbehavin'. As you know, 39I, that used to belong to a good mate of mine, Mike Turner. And Simone. Just about to go for a bit of a fish, I think. See if we can get something going. Got a couple of little fish yesterday, Arvo. Got a mackerel and a little turrum. Let's see if we can get a big mackerel this morning though. It's low tide. You can see the reef out of the water just. And right over in the distance, down to the sort of southwest, you might be able to just make out Scofield Island over there. Well, no joy on the fishing front this morning. Had one good strike, but always catch them. But it's Father's Day today, so I think Sammy's going to cook me a nice brekkie, so I might go and enjoy that, I think. And go and enjoy all of this. Look what Precious has cooked me for Father's Day. Got a yummy brekkie. Yum. Well, this is pretty close. There's Narik. This mother and calf have just come into the anchorage. Just decided to have a little lull around. Very cool. Looking very, very chill. Baby's just on the other side of it there, just stuck its head up. I love the sound they make when they come up for air.
No, we were downstairs and they came up and then I saw them and you heard me squeal. I love the whales.
I'm going to film all of you guys and our friends out the back there.
I couldn't see what you were. No, it just did a flipper flap. The baby. The flipper flap.
That probably is. Oh, I
Very
love
good.
it. Thanks me. You spoiled my night. Hang on. Keep the smiles going for about 10 minutes. That's breed. There's got to be a female, probably a big, this is a big stone. I'm after this stone. I'm going to charge them double.
brutally honest, Sam and I were a bit disappointed with the quality of the reef at Credlin Reef. It's obviously one of the closest reefs to Mackay, so probably does get a bit of pressure, but I think the problem may have been that particular reef is very exposed to the north, and I suspect that during Cyclone Debbie, the fringing reef copped a hammering. I say that because the most protected parts of the reef, the bommies in the lagoon area, seem to offer the best diving. Have a look at this morning out here at Credlin Reef. Low tide, so you can see the reefs out of the water. Sun's just come up. There's skylark up ahead. Misbehaving. So the guys are out trolling. John's out trolling by the looks of it, or at least looking around the reef edge. You can sort of see the reef edge is just that disturbed water there. And if you look back sort of more or less underneath, we'll go back here a little. If you look back pretty much underneath the, just to the right of the wind generator there, you can see there's a bit of flat water where that disturbed water ends, and that's where we came in. Moon's still up. Looks like it's going to be a pretty special day out here. You can see the little isolated bommies here and there, the little disturbed bits of water. Very special.
The hobo guys that we were with at Mackay and further up actually,
I hope the hobo guys aren't watching this.
Darren, who owns the boat.
Look at this afternoon.
Friends to come up and
it's amazing out here.
So they've come up with their,
no whales, but today it's sad. Anyway.
Yeah. And it's like a stove, and then he goes, that smells of pizza. Okay, we'll use the barbecue. He goes, no, that's.
So we're out of there after 3 nights at Credlin. We're on our way. A little bit of breeze up this morning, so we thought we'd get going a little bit earlier than we'd anticipated. Up anchored right at low tide, about 8:30, and we're on our way. This is our mate Skylark, Andrew and Claire, and then just up at the end of our boom is Misbehaving up there. John and Alison on board. So we're just running along at the moment. Just got our heady poled out, our tiny headsail. You can see how much shorter the hoist it is. We just pinched that one off the doghouse for a few weeks while the other one's getting made. And just the full main then. Poled out, square running. Just on our way to Brampton, I think. These guys are going to put a spinnaker up. We've only got an Assy, so it's probably not really the angle for that. We might just run with this for a while, and then hopefully the breeze fills a little bit. Anyway, we're going all right. No hurry today. Should be a nice sail. There we go. Up she goes. Beautiful, look at that. It's up. Nice. So we're chugging along. Beautiful day out here, but unfortunately our breeze has dropped from about 10 knots down to about 5 or 6, which is making for some pretty slow going. Still got the lure out trying to get a fish, but nothing yet. But the big change is what's going on around here. We've put the chute up just for something to do. It was getting very light and very slow, and the guys in front had their chutes up for a little bit, so we thought we might as well do it. So yeah, very nice. We got the 3 Gosford boats all with their spinnakers up. Very nice. Well, the motor's back on again, but we've got a whale up here. It's sort of coming towards us, so just got to make sure we don't run into him. Wasn't very far away, probably a few hundred metres. It kind of looked like he was heading down towards us a bit though, so there it is. So far it just looks like it's by itself too. I haven't seen a little baby one with it, but just looking for this whale. There's got some fish breaking the surface here. Hopefully we'll get a hook up here. That'll be cool. There's some fish on the sounder, just gone past. I'm just waiting for them to get an interest in this. Come on, baby. You can do it. About to turn the phone off. If you don't hurry up and bite it. I know you're going to hook up as soon as I stop the filming. Little baby Mac tuna. Woo! He's tiny, the smallest Mac tuna I think I've ever seen. Beautiful little fish. It's going back in though, I think. See ya. That was the lure we caught him on. It's nearly as big as the fish. So a few hours into our passage here, just in towards Brampton Island. We've got misbehaviour back there, just back beside our bimini there. And then we've just got a bunch of islands here. So this is Calder Island. And then Scofield, that little bit bigger one. And then as we come around here, you can see in the distance there, St. Bees. Basically is the island on the left there. And Keswick is on the right of those two. And then we're coming up here, so we've got Wigton Island, is the one in the foreground. Just over the top of the point on the east, on the northern side of Wigton there is Cockermouth Island. And then off in the distance, a little bit hard to see with the stays there, but the big high peak there is Carlisle, and Brampton's just in behind there. And we just got our friends on Skylark, just up in front here a little bit. Breeze has dropped right out, gone back to motors, so just got to do a few miles now. Got a fish on! I'll just put it right back into neutral just for a sec. Come on, Mackie. Not Mac tuna. It's a bit annoying that ratchet, so here he comes. Like another Mac tuna. Just get a little picture of him. And another Mac tuna. He's going back in though, they're bait for me. So just coming to the end of our passage for the day. This is the peak on Carlisle Island. And we're just coming around towards the anchorage on the north side of Carlisle and Brampton there. We're going to have a little poke in there first and see what it looks like. If it's a little bit swelly, we might go around that little island just off the tip of the point there and around into Western Bay there. Might be a little bit more protected from this swell, but it looks pretty good in there on the north side even. So there's not very much swell, it's just a little bit of a trickle of sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, east swell, I guess, it'd be something like that. So there's a little bit coming through here, but nothing crazy. So there's a couple of boats, looks like anchored up there in Brampton, so on that north side, Swordfish Point I believe it's called, around that area. So we'll go and have a look at that. A pretty nice day out here though. You're kind of getting into the Whitsundays around this area. There's islands visible pretty much all the way north from here, right up to the Whitsundays, so pretty cool spot. Okay, so you can see the anchorage here on the north side of Brampton. So there's quite a few boats in there. There's 7 or 8 boats in there already by the looks of it, but looks like it's going to be fairly calm in here, so hopefully we can just stop in here for the night. Yeah, very pretty. Big peak there on Carlisle. Very nice. Precious is up there ready to go with the anchor. She's champing at the bit to get that anchor in and get into a sundowner, huh? You ready for a sundowner up there? It's been a long day. Pretty easy day, but it's been a long day.